Weekend 2 of the Black Ops 6 beta is officially live, and we are testing it here today. Hi, this is Z-Rock on Tech, and today I figured it would be a cool idea to take the beta, see where we're at today, and compare it to the official launch of Black Ops 6 on October the 25th. And so we're going to take the fastest gaming hardware that we have, which is the AMD Ryzen 7800X 3D and the Nvidia RTX 4090. And for all the other hardware related to this testing, I will have that listed on the screen for your reference right now. I also went through the patch notes for the most recent Nvidia drivers. I do not see anything listed there specifically for Call of Duty. Therefore, I don't think the official Nvidia driver for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has been released yet. And so ideally, that would mean any performance you see today should only get better by the time the official game launches. Now, with all that being said, the testing will look something like this. I will test as many maps as I possibly can within reason, and then I will start out at native 4K. I will then switch over to DLSS quality, and then I will also enable frame generation both with and without DLSS quality enabled. I will do my best to showcase any type of PC latency if I can. However, Weekend 1 proved to be a challenge with that simply because the Black Ops 6 beta did not support the Nvidia overlay for PC latency or any other metric related to latency. I will try that again for this test, which I'm about to do, but I can't promise it. Either way, it'll be interesting to see what the results are. And now, before we hop into today's benchmarks, if you like what you see, remember to hit the like button, get subscribed if you're new, drop a comment to help out the algorithm, and a quick word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Flexispot and their E7 Pro premium standing desk and their C7 ergonomic office chair. Gamers, we sit entirely too much, and that is why we need a standing desk. Sitting is the new smoking, and we all need to stand more. And the E7 Pro premium standing desk allows you to stand more and still be productive. Now, you can manually raise and lower the desk at will. However, you can also pre-program it with your preferred sitting position and your preferred standing position. The E7 Pro is also powerful because it has not one but two motors. It's so strong it can even lift me up while I'm sitting on it, and it's incredibly sturdy because I filled a glass of water to the brim and I tried to get it to spill over by raising and lowering the desk. I even wobbled the desk a little bit and I could not get the glass to spill any water. Now, ultimately, when you do need to sit, that is where the C7 ergonomic office chair comes in. The C7 offers dynamic lumbar support and fully adjustable armrest. Also, the headrest is fully adjustable as well. You can raise and lower the chair, and you can even kick your feet out for maximum comfortability. Oh, and did I mention it has wheels so you can roll around and have some fun? Flexispot also offers other accessories to help make your setup even better, such as the anti-fatigue mat for whenever you're in a standing position. They also offer monitor mount arms so that you can mount your monitors on the desk. And of course, they have cable management trays that you can install underneath the desk for a super clean look. Now, Flexispot offers a wide range of different desks from the E7 Plus to the E7 to the E7 Pro, and if you're on a budget, you can go with the E5 model. Now go ahead and find out more information and save some money by taking advantage of my discount code down below in the video description. Now, thank you Flexispot for sponsoring today's video. And now it's time for the benchmarks. Okay, first up we have Babylon at native 4K on the Ultra preset. And as you can see, our average frame rate is about 109 FPS, with our 1% lows dipping down to about 84 to 85 FPS. Okay, and now we're switching over to DLSS quality, upscaling to 4K. And as you can see, our average frame rate has radically improved. We're up to about 165 FPS, and our 1% lows are around 125 to 126 FPS, give or take. And now we're back over to native 4K without DLSS. However, I have now enabled frame generation. As you can see, the average frame rate is about 141 FPS, and the 1% lows are about 111 to 112 FPS. Unfortunately, all the Nvidia latency recording tools are not working with the Black Ops 6 beta, not even in weekend 2. So unfortunately, I cannot give you any answers on the exact numbers related to latency at this time. I can tell you though, yes, the frame rate definitely goes up, but I also feel like there are more frequent drops from time to time when frame generation is enabled. So overall, I prefer the native experience or the DLSS experience over just native plus frame generation. And now I'm switching back over to DLSS quality, upscaling to 4K, but now I have also added in frame generation compared with the DLSS. As you can see, the average frame rate is around 180 FPS, and the 1% lows are around 148 to 149 FPS. In a similar situation here, I do prefer the DLSS performance without frame generation because I do feel like frame generation is not fully ironed out yet in the beta. However, I will say frame generation does work noticeably better when paired with DLSS as opposed to just running it by itself with a native 4K resolution. And now finally, I can switch over to a different map. This is Derelict, and we're at native 4K on the Ultra preset. And as you can see, our average frame rate is sitting around 117 FPS, and our 1% lows are sitting at about 94 FPS. And now switching over to DLSS quality, upscaling to 4K. As you can see, the average frame rate is about 177 to 178 FPS, and the 1% lows are sitting just below 150 FPS, coming in around 149 FPS. Okay, now we're back to native 4K Ultra settings, but now we have frame generation enabled. As you can see, the average frame rate is about 160 FPS, dropping down to 155 there in that gunfight, and the 1% lows are sitting around 113 to 114 FPS. And now combining all the powers together with DLSS quality upscaling to 4K plus frame generation, as you can see, the average frame rate is about 182 FPS, with the 1% lows sitting just above 150 FPS. And now it's time for another map switch, coming in with Skyline at native 4K on the Ultra preset. The average frame rate is about 119 FPS, so just under 120, and the 1% lows are sitting around 81 FPS. And now switching over to DLSS quality, upscaling to 4K. As you can see, the average frame rate is about 185 FPS, and the 1% lows are sitting around 140 FPS, give or take. Now switching back to native 4K on the Ultra quality preset with frame generation enabled, the average frame rate is 156 FPS, and the 1% lows are 113 FPS. And now finally with DLSS quality upscaling to 4K plus frame generation enabled, the average frame rate is 187 FPS with a 1% low of 151 FPS. And now switching over to a map called Pit, not the Pit, that would be Halo 3. This is just called Pit, and at native 4K on the Ultra quality preset, you can see we have an average frame rate of about 125 FPS. It's rising and falling quite rapidly, and the 1% lows are around 87 FPS. And now switching over to DLSS quality, upscaling to 4K, the average frame rate is 175 FPS, and the 1% low is 143 FPS. And now switching back to native 4K Ultra quality preset with frame generation enabled, the average frame rate is 144 FPS, and the 1% low is 108 FPS. And now with DLSS quality upscale to 4K plus frame generation enabled, you can see the average frame rate is 188 FPS with a 1% low of 157 FPS. And now for the final map, we have Rewind coming in at native 4K on the Ultra quality preset. You can see the average frame rate is about 124 FPS with a 1% low of 73 FPS. And now switching over to DLSS quality, upscaling to 4K. And for some random reason, the previous settings that I tried to enable with latency actually decided to work on this one match for some random reason. It is a beta and it is buggy, and I think this is proof of that. Anyway, the average frame rate is 189 FPS and the 1% low is 150 FPS. And now switching back to native 4K on the Ultra quality preset with frame generation enabled. As you can see, the average frame rate is 164 FPS with a 1% low of 125 FPS. And now switching over to DLSS quality, upscaling to 4K plus frame generation enabled. As you can see, the average frame rate is 195 FPS with a 1% low of 173 FPS. And there you have it. That's all of my testing. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section below, are you playing the Black Ops 6 beta? And if so, what do you think about the game so far? Are you going to buy it on October the 25th? Are you going to pass on it? And overall, what's the performance like for you and your PC hardware? Also, I'm curious to know what your PC hardware is. Anyway, thank you guys so much for checking out the video. If you did like it, please do me a favor, hit that like button because it goes a long way in helping me out. If you're new, get subscribed, and until next time, E-Rock out.